Welcome back to another podcast episode. I have Mr. Jack Archer with me today, and he's going to run through how he started getting into bodybuilding. So let's do it, my man.
Oh God. All right. Okay, here we go. I got into bodybuilding through. I feel like I've told this story millions of times. I think it's one of those things where every time I tell this story, I feel like people are sick of hearing it. But maybe I only tell it like once a year. Um, I was in school. I was a nerdy kid. I was big into computers. I still am, both of those things. My background was always computer science. I was always my direction in life. I was pretty good at it as well. And then sixth form rolls around, where I was doing, funnily enough, A-level computer science. But they still make you do PE up until you're 18. So I was still forced to do PE, and at the time I was loath to do it. But they give you the option of you can do it on site, you can do it off site. So on site is you do it on the school grounds, because my secondary school and my sixth form were the same thing, and I was like, I'm not fucking doing that, Christ. I'll do off site PE. I'll go and do what I want. And a lot of people took that opportunity to go and just like go home. But I was a good kid, and I was terrified of being caught, and I had a clean record. I'd never had a detention. I've still never had a detention. So I thought, like I'll go see what my mates are doing, and I had one group of mates who would like go to like the football cage and go like kick a ball about, and I was like, fucking football, man, that's not me. Get out of here with that. I had another group of mates who went to the gym, and I was like, I'll try that. Like it's a small gym, it's a local leisure center. You can't really go wrong. You can kind of just do whatever. I was like, even if I just go on the treadmill and just watch TV, sound with me. Um, and then I trained, and I was like, shit. Like, I think I get it. And like pretty quickly, I was like, I think I get it. Um,
What was that
Both my
moment?
parents, go on.
What was that moment? What was that kind of like? Oh, I quite like this, because you know how
I
everyone has that
remember,
kind of origin story, right?
I remember, like, so of my group of mates, it was me and my mate David. We're still mates to this day, and we were
Mm.
both like big computery nerds. Like kind of both very pale and very frail. And I remember being like stood by the lockers at the end, like getting my shit back to go home. I remember talking to him. I was like, you know what? I actually kind of really like that. And he was like, yeah, man, I think I did too. And I remember his response. From his response, I was like, you get it, but I don't think you get it. Like there was something like afterwards, there was something in me that was like, that was really fucking good. I spent my entire life hating sport. I'm shit at it. I'm still shit at it. Right? I'm like, it's a bit of an inside joke. I'm really bad, from table tennis to snooker to bowling. Put me in a sport, I'm shit. I'm horrific at it. But I went to the gym. I didn't know what good was, but like I felt good doing it. And maybe that was what it was. It was that like I'm moving a machine and it says 18 or 8 or 0.8. I don't know. It means nothing to me, but it feels nice. Um, and yeah, so I kind of like felt that I guess the buzz after, like a bit of a runner's high, and I was like, yeah, this is where I want to be. And I remember I went home, and both my parents are incredibly sporty. My mum's big into the gym. Shout out my mum for her genetics, my God. And I was like, I think I want to join the gym. She was like, give it a few more weeks, because like, you know, I don't think you're going to stick with it. I was like, okay, and then I did, and now here we are. I gradually went more and more and more. And then I had a mate who was big into bodybuilding, and he kind of introduced me to bodybuilding. To summarize a long old story,
Who was
because
that?
before it, what's that?
Who was that?
My mate Dan, who I've coached at the minute. I'm still bodybuilding. He's retired from bodybuilding, but I coached him for quite some time, and he kind of introduced me to like what he was doing. It wasn't even like a hey, you should do this too. It was just like a this exists. Before I was like, yeah, I go to the gym and I like kind of train things, and I enjoy that. I just enjoyed doing it. And he was a big fucking lad at 16, like same height as me, like 9,500 kilos, and like looked good on it. Strong guy as well. And I was
Just
like,
dense,
yo,
right? Just a dense younger gent.
yeah, like you look at him and you're like, how are you not fat? What is happening? Like, what is going on? And his strength was ridiculous. And he'd walk in the gym and everyone would turn heads. He'd more like waddle into the gym. And I remember being like, I think it kind of sowed the seeds. I think seeing how much it sounds dumb, but like seeing how much respect he got. Everyone knew him, and everyone was like, I think getting into training and kind of being like, hey, I can see my physique change, and that's really cool. And especially for me, it was like I always thought I'd live my life a certain way, like skinny, nerdy kids at a computer. And it's like, here I am, I've got abs. What? I never have abs. I have fucking biceps and forearm veins. Like, what? I don't get those. That's not me. And I think seeing and realizing, it kind of felt like I was breaking the matrix. I was like, you can do this. Anyone can do this. Like, it's just not. I don't have to be like one of the kind of sporty football guys to look good. I look better than them now. What's going on?
You don't have to be like one of the jocks, right? You
Yeah,
can
yeah,
you can get
exactly.
in the
It's
shape
like,
because I remember that because I used to play football to a decent standard, and I also claimed that I was never actually any good at football, but I was a very good athlete. Like, and there's a big difference. If you want to make it professionally, you actually need to be quite good at football. And I've got the first touch of a Jimmy Savile, put it that way. Like, so like I was always a better athlete than I was technically gifted in anything really. And I've applied that to most of my entire life, whether that was in the military or anything. I've always had to work my ass off for anything I get. Because that's just like some aspect of genetics or whatever it is. It's not that it's terrible. I'm just like extremely mediocre. Like apart from my quads, like that's it. Like if they're the star of the show, they're the claim to fame. Like anything else is just like, oh yeah, we've got to keep up with these guys. Jesus Christ, let's put in the overdrive. But like I remember being in the changing rooms as a kid and seeing a couple of the guys that just were genetically blessed. They had these like just bam abs. They had shoulders, pecs, and back, and you're like, these are guys like 14, 15, 16. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like they're just like blessed with it, and it's funny, right? Because like me and you both had to put a lot of work in to begin with. And still have to put in that work now, probably more so than ever, because as you go through those levels, you realize it only kind of doubles down, right? It doesn't get any
yeah,
easier.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah,
Those after those newbie gains are gone, mate, everything's uphill battle. And those guys now, the way they look, but I kept going for that, is that when I see, well, a very rare occasion now, but when I bump into these guys that I used to play football with or school with, they're kind of just almost in awe. They're like, what the hell? It's like, yeah, I just kept going. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
just kept going for that.
yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting to see like where obviously like where you started at that and where you're at now, obviously, which kind of takes us into a nice segue of like, what's going on now for yourself. Like obviously that journey from bodybuilding. So you got into the gym, you started getting serious. Obviously you coached your mate down for a while. How did you start getting like I say claws deeper into bodybuilding? How did you make your way more into it?
So I lockdown hit, and the gyms were open for a bit, and then obviously they shut. And I was due to go to uni, and I spent all my money on gym kit. I put a bunch of stuff in my Amazon basket. It was going to be like 200 quid. Woke up the next day, sold out. And so I ended up spending 800 quid, which was like my entire life savings on training. And as I was training, I was like, oh, I don't think this is like just a hobby now. And I remember getting into Chris Bumstead, and I was like, I want to do classic physique. The classic thing everyone said, I want to do classic physique, opens too big. Like 70 kilos. Sure, man. Cool. Whatever you say. Now, put me in open. Hell yeah. But yeah, like kind of that like furthered my love. I had a coach, a very good friend of mine, Liam, who coached me through lockdown on half price, one absolute Giga Chad move. And all I had was bodybuilding. So kind of without knowing it, I probably lived like I do now. Probably better. I was probably a better bodybuilder, to be honest, because I slept like 11 hours a day, which is not something I'm able to do now. But like, I remember just thinking to myself, I was like, I can't be asked to decide what to eat. Just tell me. Tell me how much to drink. Tell me when to train. Like, tell me what substance. I remember just being like, I like, just tell me everything. Like, I'll do it all. And I remember, like, still something that I've continued to this day is my phone tells me when to eat. It says it's 3 p.m. You have meal three, and I go and do it. And I would prep all my meals, even though I had nowhere to be. And I remember being like, tell me when to do steps. I got an exercise bike. Tell me when to do that. And so I did, like, I was on like 1,300 calories, 20K steps, hour of cardio a day, training 6 days a week, eating six meals a day. And I fucking loved it. And like, I remember just like, it wasn't there's a lot of benefits. And like, yeah, you come out of it and everyone's like, whoa, you morphed. And it's like, yeah, that's cool. And yeah, you look in the mirror and you're like, that's cool. And you lift heavier and that's cool. It's just the simple, like, it gives everything purpose. Like, most people, I'm 24, for example, right? And I'm at that age where most of my friends, and I laugh when they do it, they're like, oh, turning 30. Shut up. You're so far from 30. Shut up. But for me, it's like, I don't fear that, like, that time when I was like 18 was 6 years ago, because I'm 6 years better. It's like, I don't fear being 30 or 40 or 50 or even 60, because my entire life has direction. I don't eat because I saw something on a billboard. I don't sleep because TikTok kept me up. I don't drink because I slammed a pizza and it was full of salt. Like, those things serve me purpose. Like, I eat because it makes me better, and I drink because it gets me better, and I sleep because it makes me better. And I think that kind of clicked in my head of like, oh, like, instead of before bed being like, I'm peckish, I guess I'll have like a ham sandwich and a chocolate bar. It's like, oh, I'm hungry. Well, yeah, but like, I've had my food. Okay, well, let's just go to bed then. And then you wake up, and then it's like, hey, it's meal one, and it's time to do some steps, and like, maybe you should do some mobility work. And it's that simple process of like, you go from I'm just doing shit to like, I ate that meal. I remember, right? Sorry, I'm really yappy today. Apparently, I remember being sat there on like a video call with my mates, and like, we were all eating, and I was sat there, and I remember thinking in my head, and it's probably really egotistical and not a great thought. It's like, you guys are eating food. I am turning this into muscle mass. Like, right now, I am growing. Like, this food is literally improving me as a person. In 6 months' time, you will see this chicken and rice in my physique. I will be fuller, I will be rounder, I will be bigger, I'll be leaner. And I remember being like, that's fucking beautiful. I want that constantly. I want that feeling all the time of like, things aren't just happening, they're improving. You know what I mean?
So I think, yeah, when I listened to a clip many many years ago in my old age of 33, that when Jay Cutler was thinking about eating, he was thinking about eating to perform, not eating to just eat.
Yeah.
Right, it's eating to fuel, not eating to get rid of these basic kind of distraction or dopamine hits or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
That we find that happens more and more in, I say, the gen pop area, but like anyone really, because like, it's pretty much outside of bodybuilding and being a professional athlete. That's what everyone else does. They don't have structure, they don't have purpose, they don't have clarity and meaning, and you see how the average person walks or waddles down the street, right? And how they behave, how they act, how they walk, how they think. Like, these things are so in tune. So yeah, I totally get that. I look back in my kind of introduction into bodybuilding. Was kind of probably like, or even just weightlifting, because I think that's where we get first introduced into, right?
Oh,
You go into a
yeah.
gym and it's weightlifting first. It happens to
Yeah.
be that weightlifting can kind of be like so spread out, right? It could be so spread out. It could be, what do you just clot somewhere?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's my phone, but it's not smashed any more than it was before I clotted it.
Oh,
So we're all good. Keep going.
cool, good. Yeah, so I remember first gym I ever went to, right? I think I was 16, right?
Yeah.
I just got my first job at Tesco, right? Shout out Mumsy for getting me the first ever job at Tesco because she was working at the customer service and got me part time on fruit and veg. And I was still I think I was still in college at this point doing sports science. And fun fact, I dropped out and joined the military for that. So like I have like a certificate in that. I did half a year where I changed colleges and they made me redo the first year and I said, fuck this, see you later. I'm not redoing this over again to then.
Did you get a certificate of higher education? Was that what you got?
Basically, yeah. So like it's like, yeah, go on.
I was going to say, because when I dropped out of comp sci or computer science, sorry, that's what we call kids cool computer science. When I dropped out of computer science and went to study coaching, I didn't realize, but I'd done enough that they gave me a certificate. So I've got a certificate of higher education in computer science. It's got like a crease in it. It's like under my bed. Very valued. Very valued qualification.
Very valued. Yeah. So because I did because when I was at Molten College, I was on a scholarship for playing football for catering under 18s while playing for Molten College at the same time. So it was kind of like dual, where they would kind of catering at the time would take us when it was convenient and used us as a feeder team to try and get some guys to compete for professional contracts. And the goalkeeper when I was there, Niall Cooper, he got one, and that was the dream chasing that. But somewhere along the way, like I went from staying in uni digs to then having to travel because it was to Northampton from Milton Keynes. I kind of ended up saying fuck that and just ended up slowly drifting off that. I had an ankle injury that I never really got over, which I later found out I damaged even more. Then I got an MRI when I was in the military, but that's a fucking whole other story for a different time. It ended up having like getting it fixed and having to go through rehab on basically a lateral tear, complete almost 90% tear of my lateral ankle ligament. And I had like bone fragments floating around in there and all sorts, and Achilles partially ruptured. Yeah, basically it was fucked, and I had no idea because I would go up for a header and I'd come back down and it would just flop underneath me every time. And obviously this happens, like it takes the healing process, it inflames, it would stop me from getting fitter. And it was causing me issues. So I eventually got MRI'd because I went through the rehab. I was doing the one-legged pistol squats on the fucking Bosu ball. I was like, I'm ninja, but this isn't getting better. Like, I'm pretty good now, but like this is not getting better. Like it still rolls. There's no strength to it. So I had the moon boot and the cast on. Man, it looked like, you're going to laugh at this, man, but fuck it. It looked like I had a vagina on the side of my ankle at one point. Because when they stitch it up, it has an overlap of skin.
Oh no!
Oh man! And literally, when the bone saw come out for it and they do it cut across, my mate Adam Lucas was sat next to me. He's like, "Oh, looks like you got a vagina on your ankle, mate." And I was like, "Cheers, bud. I'm not absolutely petrified of what to do next, thank you." And then he put the moon boot on me, had crutches, rehabbed it, got stronger. That's where I found another love for the gym as well through strengthening that, because I got introduced to real strength and conditioning and all that stuff, and had my gait analysed and all this stuff. So fun fact, now my gait doesn't the same way. So when I run or walk, this side goes in and out, but this side protects it and doesn't go out as far. So yeah, it was interesting learning through all that, man. And first time I ever went in, 16-year-olds, Polish truck drivers just lifting heavy tonnage. And I was like, cool, I want to do that. So that's what I used to do. And that's how I started lifting weights, and then went in through the military and learned all of that shit. And yeah, man, it was interesting going through so many different gyms. And I got to go to a gym called Hamilton's. I think it's a different gym now, but that was in Colchester where I was based. And that was my first introduction, because he was like Mr. GB 95 or something. And then I started getting introduced to that. And there was some like strong lifters there. We're talking like Olympic level masters bench pressers, the kind of guys that took every 20 plate in the gym. It was filthy. Like, I think his name was like Pindasar, and he had like no neck. Like that kind of and his son was like a fucking twig. And I was like, bro, you got some shoulders to fill out here, man. Like, your dad is fucking absolutely wham. And then his son's just like trying to like spot him. I was like, good luck, fella, good luck. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, all that introduced it into it, like reading through Arnold's Cyclopedia for the first time, going through that. Yeah, it's all interesting, man. You get dragged into it in different ways, man. So it's good fun. I looked into, one of my mates that did kind of started training with me at that gym, and we used to put on the trance music and double scoop the freaking Jack 3D and all that good stuff back in the day.
The good shit.
the good stuff back. I mean, even the original like Dorian Yates formula back in the day, mate. Ooh, like that had some kick and some spice to it, mate. The pre-workouts nowadays, mate, they're all a bit bland if you ask me, compared to all that stuff.
There's one pre. I mean, I'm sponsored by them, but there is one pre that I actually do genuinely back still. I know you're not meant to daily it, but conviction. Still, genuinely. Have you tried it? What do you think? Unbiased. Go on, tell me. Live on air.
I have, and I do like it. I don't know whether I'm a fucking caffeine addict and I need to come off stims for 4 weeks just to let caffeine actually do its job properly. But I feel like I had to like when it said like don't double scoop and stuff. I'm just like double scoop like normal. Probably not a good idea, but like my default now is like it's fine. Let's double scoop, it would be good. But no, it's I've used a lot of stuff in Conte. Hydroflow for me is the best electrolyte I have ever had taste wise, and just like I use that religiously during prep as well. So like shout out to them for making some fucking awesome subs as well, and shamelessly plugging yourself at the same time with them.
That, or to be fair, actually, to give an unbiased one, DFib I find is quite good from HR Labs. The one that I think Kiffy's got a code for it. DFib's quite strong as well, but those two are the only that like actually make me feel like I'm on any kind of pre.
Yeah. I've used Strom stuff a few times as well.
Vascular. Is it that one?
Yeah. So I've tried both the stim and non-stim stuff. I don't. There's like these top kind of like tier people that I've always floating around that just so reliable sup wise, and then there's always just like this mass tier of garbage underneath.
Yep.
Right, and like it's trying to tell the guys that are sifting through this because people that are pumping marketing into all these people that don't know anything about sups, right? And then you're just like, but it's not really good stuff. It's not really actually going to help you. It's full of a lot of filler. It's not in the dosage they say it is as well. Like, because there's very little regulation around some of this stuff. And then like you see that you're like, no, I actually have something good. I know for a fact when I tell a lot of my clients, okay, cool, try the Conte, try the HR Labs, try this. Yes, it's a cost a little bit more, but there's a reason for that. And then when they try it, they just go, this is the real stuff, right? This is the real stuff, man. But so talk to me about at the moment, obviously, like what happened last year. I think you were in prep, then you had to pull out, and obviously now we're in prep this year, man. So talk to me about the journey that's been happening with that. Obviously, I know that I think you changed coach as well.
Yeah, so I was this is prior to prep. I was actually no, I wouldn't have. I start prep? I can't remember if I started prep with a coach. I don't think I did. I can't remember. I don't know. Anyway, I was with Tom Taylor for ages. Absolutely fantastic. Really phenomenal coach. At that time, I had a lot of personal life stress going on. I had a very long-term relationship that was breaking up, and it probably had been breaking up for quite some time. And that was happening kind of all throughout working with Tom. And I kind of didn't know what I wanted from a coach. And I think I can't even look back and say like why I left, but it definitely was the right decision. And it wasn't because of Tom. It was because I just needed to have no coach. And what I did was I left it, and my initial plan was to take a back step from bodybuilding and just kind of get through my breakup. But what I noticed was, because I'd been coached for so long, when I had no external pressure at all, and it kind of leads into like my mindset that I have now, when there's no one, like, you kind of realize no one cares. And then I realized that, hang on, I care. And it's like, I had a week of like bad sets, missing sessions, eating shit. And then I kind of was like, oh, this bothers me. And I kind of had to pick myself up and be like, look, and like a check-in day passed where I'd normally check in. And I was like, I have to check in. So I made my own sheets and I did my own food. And I ran the changes past Camille and past Luke, lactic addict Luke, shout out Luke. And it was like nothing crazy happened. And I basically just kind of kept on dieting after working with Tom, and I think that freedom of like there was no you have to. Obviously, there isn't with a coach, but when you completely remove the you have to, there is only I want to, and so I just wanted, and I just kept going. I kept going. I kept going. I pulled off 30 pounds in 30 days, and I went from like a really shit physique to like, oh, I'm kind of within striking distance here. And then the prep was starting to cause me some stress, and it was pretty evident that like my relationship was definitely going. And I was walking along, and I remember I was like, I need a coach, and I'd kind of like stupidly I'd said to Tom like I would go back, and I shouldn't have said that because I didn't go back because I was like I need something new. I knew literally nothing about him, but I went with Tim, and I was like, right, clean slate, let's do it. And I voice noted him, and I said, hey man, look, I'm going through a breakup. I'm gonna have a say at what we do. Like, I know that when you get an inquiry and they say I want to collaborate, it always means they want to walk the easy path. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna walk the easy path, but I'm sure as shit gonna collaborate with you. Because this whole process has taught me this needs to be my decision. And if you start to do things that don't feel like my decision, then I'm not going to do it. And he was like, yeah, man, fuck it. Cool. So we worked together. And funnily enough, the longer that I worked with Tim, the more I was like, I don't want my hands on this at all. Like, take the wheel, please. I remember when I signed up, he was like, I know who you are and you know training really well. You can do your training. I'll do your macros, send them over. He tweaked them slightly because I was playing around with really high protein. And he was like, have you noticed the benefit? I was like, no. Is that all right? Well, let's just not do that. Tweak my macros. And then he was like, right, you're going to send me your meal plan. I was like, cool, fine. And then, yeah, it got to the point where I just kind of wanted him to control everything. But we got to around 10 weeks out, and I was sat in Costa and my nose started bleeding, and I was like, uh-oh, this is blood pressure. This is certainly blood pressure. Blood pressure's never been an issue before. It's always been sound, but this is almost certainly blood pressure. Drove myself home, and then measured my blood pressure. Like, within like a few units, it was 200 over 100.
Jesus.
I was like, yeah, I was like, cool. So I messaged Tim and I was like, Tim, I'm currently stage 2 hypertensive. Like I'm gonna have a heart attack any second, quite possibly. So I lied down. I kept the cuff on. I lied down. I breathed deeply. Shout out Apple Watch for the fucking. You ever done the breathing thing with Apple Watch? Meditation one.
Mate,
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think triggered that then? Because going from like no history whatsoever
Yeah.
and to that is quite extreme. That's not something you see every day.
The prep had not been smooth by any means. I came to Tim with literally like no food and so much cardio and so many steps. I'd completely, like, absolutely slammed myself. And we pushed harder and harder and harder. And in that time, I'd had further personal life stress going on. And I also, oh yeah, I busted my foot, so I couldn't do any steps or cardio.
That's when we trained, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
your foot was busted up. Like,
yeah, yeah. And I was documenting the prep, and to be honest, it was something that I wanted to do, but I felt so much external pressure. And I don't know why it came to a head in that Costa, but like it was definitely anxiety. Because like I went home, I chilled out, it never came back. I was vaping and using caffeine as I am now. Completely pulled that out. I remember my friends were like, "How the fuck did you quit nicotine?" I was like, "Well, because I thought I might die if I didn't. It's very easy to quit something in that sense. Like,
Death's a hell
don't
of a
give."
motivator, right?
Yeah, this doesn't like this is just rational decision making. Like, it's quite easy to be like, "Oh, I could really go for a fucking vape." Yeah, but I can't. Like, I literally can't. Like, that's not an option here. You wake up and you're like, "Oh, I'm groggy. I need a coffee." Okay, but I can't. And then yeah, like we pulled that out. We pulled out cardio, just steps, push food up a little bit more, pull down on training. Everything faded. It faded, like my blood pressure really rocketed down. It rocketed down the most after I announced that I wasn't doing prep. And me and Tim were like, "It's in your head. It's anxiety." And like Tim was, we were kind of like, "Okay, well, we're 10 weeks out. Like, there's no way we can push on from here. It's going to be counterproductive. Like, yeah, there's no point." So we ran a health phase, got nice and healthy, slowly pushed up, and now we're coming back down. And I kept the prep a secret until I think probably like 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago. And I timed it with the early stages of prep when you're kind of fat and kind of shit. I kept it hidden. And then when I had something somewhat to show and I was kind of proud, I posted it up. And it was when prep started to get hard and I didn't find pressure, I found support. Whereas I think early on, because I told a few people about the prep and I felt pressure even there from like telling Camille and Matty, because they'd be like, "Oh, how is it?" I'd be like, "I'm still fat. I still look bad. I look terrible."
Where do you think that pressure comes from? Because obviously, like you haven't competed before, have you?
No, first time.
Right. So you're a first timer, and when you're a first timer, there is no expectation around how you're going to perform, if that makes sense, because it's the first time you've ever done anything. There's no like anyone in the industry. There's like they're like, of course you're a first timer. Like, of course you don't know this is going to happen. Of course you have like this benefit of the doubt. Now, like even if yourself is like trying to build an authority in any kind of industry or leadership, like if like they said, you know your shit about training, Jack. Like I know that you're a good coach. I know that you know your shit. But getting up on stage in those tighty whities, mate, like in those fucking speedos, is a whole different ball game psychologically. And like
Yeah.
I would be lying to you if I didn't. Mate, I shit myself the second time, the third time. I still get butterflies thinking about it right now because for me, that's the same way I used to feel in a game tunnel, like before a big game. And I always perform the best when I have this. Now, putting that level of pressure on me every single day is very counterproductive. I fall to pieces, I
Yeah.
burn out. It's not good. But when it comes game time, I'm fucking ready. Like I just managed to go and level up. So where do you think that pressure comes from, man?
I think it's because of coaching and like because I put myself out there, and I think because I mean like I'm a prep coach. I've taken people to stage, and the obvious question people always go is, "Have you competed?" And that was always like a very shameful answer, especially last year. Like whenever I had clients who would be like, "Have you competed?" and I'd be like, "I tried. I tried, and I didn't get there, and." It's my fault, but it's also not really my fault. But like, I don't really know, and it's like, that was also hard to contend with. That it was like my own anxiety that got in the way because it wasn't that I tapped out, but like I kind of did in a way. You know what I mean? It's like I
I don't think that was a tap out, mate. I think that was as a coach the most reasonable thing to do. Like if you didn't do that, how and talk to Tim, and I know Tim's a very good coach as well. Like and a fucking monster of a man, by the way. Jesus Christ! First time I saw him in person, I was like, I'm 6'4", but you make me feel fucking tiny.
voice as well. It's
Oh
booming.
man, I could hear him from the
Yeah,
other side of the WNBF arena, mate. I could see him like vibrating floor panels with his deep accent. But like, it would be irresponsible of you as the person you are as a coach not to pull that. So, I personally look at that as you would have guilt and shame if you didn't do that, because that would probably gone against everything that you value and that you align with, right?
yeah. Like I remember when I spoke to Tim, like I was teary eyed because I was like, this is it. Like I know this is it, and I was like, and even kind of like explaining it. The best expression I had was like this is a shit choice, but it's the only choice. It quite like we have,
Mm,
there is no alternative. It's like you have to not do it,
mm,
and like that's fucking awful.
mm,
But you have like I can't because if we push on from here 10 weeks, you're asking for some kind of cardiac event, and once that's happened, you can't make that unhappen. Even if you survive it, like the odds of that happening again, and the odds of it being a good prep, like
long term, right? Long term,
yeah,
you got.
you can't go from there. It's like you have only one choice, and it's a shit choice, but there is no alternative. The alternative is just not an option. But yeah, I think that I think that pressure comes from the fact that like I don't think I don't view myself, and I don't think others view me as a first timer because I've been bodybuilding for a while. It's like and I know it's tangible and it's fine. I'm okay with it, but there is pressure for me to look a certain way on stage and to hold my own. I'm not known as an athlete, so I don't need to win an overall, but I need to come in skinned and I need to
Mm,
stand out and I need to look good. And the off season after, I need to make improvements because people will draw conclusions about me and my coaching from that. And I don't think they're wrong for that. Like I am like I very much am a bodybuilder and I coach bodybuilders and I coach people through the same process that I go through. And I wouldn't turn around with a donut in one hand and voice note someone and say, "Hey man, you need to get back on plan." So it's like I see prep as something I'm looking forward to and I want to do, but it's also proof of like to myself and to others
mm,
of like no, I am walking the walk like right there with you. If you are going to come to me for a prep, I've done it, I'm doing it, and I will
mm.
continue to do it. But yeah, I think like because it is my first time, it's like it's almost like not wanting to make the mistakes that I see my clients make, like wanting to make sure that I'm drilled down on posing, wanting to make sure that I get my complexion sorted, wanting to make sure that like my stage presence is good and I'm staying on top of like exfoliating and moisturizing and shaving and like Tim can handle condition, but I need to make sure my training is up to par. I need to make sure that my accuracy is there. I need to make sure that like my coaching and my personal life don't suffer as a result. Because also I can't then turn around to clients and say, "Hey, you guys just need to be more mature in prep." When, if I'm being an angry piece of shit to like people around me, it's like again I've got no leg to stand on. So I think those pressures affect me less now because I spent all of the last off season just treating it like a prep, and I kind of realized again like I just need nothing changes. Just gonna keep on doing it,
Yeah,
and
man, that maturity, right?
made
I
that
think that maturity's started to come through now once you've been through a couple of things like that. What I find quite interesting from that is that you're already like way ahead of where a first timer normally would be anyway. Especially when you
Thank you
like
very much.
because you're already aware. You're already aware of this, and you've already got someone like Tim in your corner. You've already kind of started to go through jump through those hoops well. And we'll give an example here, and I think this is kind of very relevant to like coaching in a sense. Like our friend Mr. Nat Massa, right?
Yep.
All right. So you put him on stage last year, bring a very
Yep.
respectable package, got very very lean as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? He was training at the same gym I was training at. He saw me in prep. I went through that. He didn't choose me as a coach, chose you as a coach. So like although that kind of like stigma could be there, it's normally placed there by other people and actually it doesn't really fucking exist.
Yeah, yeah. I think yeah, pressure and support are so like they kind of come hand in hand. Like when I did a pre-prep diet with Tom, and I felt so supported. Like I remember my clients, like everyone was so like, yeah, I just felt very very supported. I remember like catching eyes of people and kind of. I remember the big one that stand out to me is Ryan Turner, Train Moving Tent, popped up to Tom's story and was like, "Yo, this is fucking sick, or something along that. And Tom sent me the DM, and I changed my lock screen to that DM. So I was like, Ryan Turner, like fucking IFBB Pro thinks I look sick. He doesn't have to say that. Like, that's unprompted. What? But the kind of the prep last year, I think because I was distracted with, like, personal stuff and dealing with that. I think, and I wasn't kind of. I was ticking the boxes, but I wasn't acting how I wanted to act. I was being brash. I was struggling. I was searching for struggle. I was saying I was too tired to do stuff. I was being angry, being lethargic, and like, kind of almost building friction in the prep. And I think kind of that then, like, instead of feeling like these people are cheering me on and they're saying I look good, not because they're saying I expect you to look better next week, but because they're saying you're doing well, what you're doing is paying off. And I think that, like, I think I was just in a very immature headspace at the time. And to be honest, it probably just wasn't the right time to prep. But I think it's taught me a lot about. I don't think this last off season and current prep would be anywhere near as successful if I hadn't had that. Because when I got that close and it got ripped away from me, that's when I was like, never again. Like, this is, I'm not going to let anything happen to me. If I have to keep the whole prep under wraps, I will. Like, I will do whatever I need to preserve my peace, to make sure that I land on stage. And then once I got to a point where I was like, okay, I feel like my physique is decent. I feel confident. Like, I feel confident now. Not that I'll win, but like, I look at my shots and I'm like, that's fucking damn good. Like, for me, that's really damn good. That's awesome. That's better than I thought. And now that I can say that, and like, I'm happy sharing the shots rather than feeling like I need to, it's now like I feel supported because I know it's only going to get better. I know I can do it. And so having people be like, yo man, you look really cool, is like, thank you. I need that. It's useful. It's helpful.
Do you think that's because of the way you treated the off season as well? Like, how, like, when you find that slot and you click in and you dial in a lot more like that you're instantly a lot more prouder and you're in a better position, like you said, like that maturity to come through, like after you go through that once or twice. And you think that's like then positively set you up so much better for this prep to actually succeed for it?
Yeah, I think the biggest change is like, I was a bit more, in that off season, I was a bit more like, I was less accommodating to people and a bit less fearless about like, I'm a bodybuilder, I am doing these things, or probably that's the wrong phrase. I want to do this. Like, I want to bring my food. I'm going to bring my food, and I'm going to eat it at 3 p.m. because that's what I want to do, and it is what I want to do. And I'm going to leave now because I want to go to bed because I've got legs tomorrow, and I want to feel good for legs, and I don't want to I don't want to fucking load up a stiff leg after this, like, and I'm not going to drink because I just frankly don't want to. And like, I realized a lot of things that I was doing, and like, me and my mates are going into London. I could prep meals, but I don't want to be that guy. I'll just macro match something. And then it's like, oh, I macro matched fucking McDonald's. And like, yeah, the calories are the same and the protein's probably equivalent. But actually, I feel kind of sluggish now. And like, that combined with the overdoing the steps, and I was out way too late. Now my leg session is like, I'm scrapping for reps, and I shouldn't be. This should be the time when I'm like absolutely flying. I was just a bit more like, okay, I don't care what phase I'm in. It's just the same. Like, I'm not going to hit my average weekly steps. I'm going to hit my daily steps. And if that means that some days when I'm over, the average is over, then that's fine. And I'm going to make sure that the cardio still gets done to the same quality. And like, I don't think my physique was any better at the end of the off season. It was still pretty naff. But because nothing changed going into prep, there was no fear or anxiety, and my physique responded far, far better. Because it was like, I'm just doing what I want to do, and it just happens to be getting lines at my glutes, and that's fine. It's like, if PCA First Timers 3 suddenly ceased to exist, I don't think I'd change anything. I think I'd still go. Or if like you couldn't get on stage, or if for whatever reason I couldn't get any leaner, I think I'd probably just like keep on as I am, you know, and like
Content in the
maybe,
process, right? Content in the
yeah,
process, and what
exactly.
actually gives you, yeah. That's like that's some homeostasis level shit right there.
Yeah, I think it is like I realized my biggest obstacle is people pleasing people, but like they actually don't care. It's like with the going to London example, it's like, we're like when I lived down south, me and my mates would go to London, and I'd feel bad for bringing food, and then I was like, just do it, and then I did, and it was fine. I'd feel bad for not drinking, and it was fine. And it's like if we're purposefully going out to a restaurant, yes, I'm going to eat the restaurant food, but I also don't need to eat everything in sight. And also, like, if we're going out to drink, I might have one or two drinks. I don't need to drink everything in sight. And if I know that the next day I want to be in bed, I'm just going to say, hey, I'm probably going to go to bed early. So then we end up meeting earlier. Okay, cool. Like, I kind of realized, other people might say, hey, I don't want to drink. And it's not because they're bodybuilders, and everyone accommodates. And I think I viewed, because of, again, some personal stuff, I think I viewed like anything that bodybuilding Jack wants to do is inherently negative and people don't like you for it, and therefore you shouldn't do it. But it's like, people say no to plans all the time. Someone will be like, yo, let's get Chinese. And someone will be like, I don't like Chinese. Can we just cook? Can we do something? Can we go Nando's? Can we like, I don't want to drink. Can we do something else? Or they're fucking, let's just go, let's go to a karaoke bar instead because I want to sing. Or like, let's just call it here, guys. I'm tired. People do that all the time.
People are
But
far
me
too
thinking about,
concerned about what they want to do, or them doing far too much to care what you're doing or why you want to do it,
yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. I don't need to like, I mean, I still kind of hold out on like saying why, because part of it is I don't want to do it, and part of it is I've got legs tomorrow. But like I won't say that, but I'll just be like, I'm tired. Like I'm gonna call it. Or I also kind of I was quite good at it with coaching. I'd be like, I've got an early call the next day. I have to be back. It's work.
Yeah.
I have to be back. Like it's outside of my control. I have to be back. But I wouldn't do it with bodybuilding, and I made bodybuilding more of a like, no, this has to be, and like, even going around my grandparents, and they'd be like, oh, do you want some biscuits? Yeah, no. And they'll ask like 5 or 6 times, and I'll say no 5 or 6 times. But
Yeah.
like, I meant every single no. But yeah, I think that's what helped my off season and led into my prep so much. Is just like I didn't flip a switch between them. I was like, let's just start. I think it's expectation setting a little bit of like, oh, if I offer Jack food, he's probably going to say no. He's probably going to have brought his own food. And people would start asking me questions. They'd be like, oh, did you drive to the pub or have you got steps to do? And like asking if they can get a lift back. And I'm like, okay, good. I'm setting expectations well of like, I can't always give you guys a lift back because sometimes I've got steps to do. So if I meet you at the pub, sometimes I'm walking back, sometimes I'm not. And like that made my life 10 times easier when people expect you to be a bodybuilder. It's easier to be a bodybuilder.
Yeah, yeah, it's about a point a lot. I mean, there was a time where, part of my recent stag do just gone past, by the way, and my wedding day on Thursday, like part of that, like yeah, I don't, mate, it's coming up quick. Part of that, like I don't really drink. Like it's got to be a hell of a special occasion for me to want to put any kind of a toxin into my body, because I just know it's not productive for me to do that. Especially coming where I had a terrible relationship with alcohol, especially in the military and when I was younger, it was like forced upon and expected you to be on the lash all the time. I had no idea how it would hamper performance. I had no idea like actually what this does to the body. And as I moved further and further away from certain individuals around me, I started to set those expectations of like, if I'm coming, order me a Coke Zero. Like I'm probably going to drive. I'll give you guys a lift into town later, but that's it, back off to bed again. And you just slowly segregate yourself out. And I don't regret that in the fucking slightest, like
Yeah.
whatsoever. I am far happier now going to bed earlier, waking up earlier, having the same meals, like, because I chase better, I chase that performance. I know what it feels like to feel fucking great and to be cognitive with it and to learn and to evolve and to build something quite like that is reflective not only in my physique but also how you feel from a mindset perspective as well. Because you'll know as well as I, like, if we're coaches, we're self-employed, we run our own businesses, right? And we have to learn a lot of shit, like, things are kind of always moving at 100 miles an hour, until, like, you do take some downtime, you breathe and, you know, pop your head out the sound like some kind of meerkat, or giraffe in my sense, because I'm because I'm that big, but, right, take a gulp of air, right, and come back down again, you know. So yeah, it's interesting, man, which kind of leads me on to the whole discussion there. Like, what do you see bodybuilders like not doing well or need to improve on at the moment?
Oh man, it's always the same answer. They trap themselves in the process. Like, I've got to, I've got to, I've got to. No, you fucking don't. I think there's like, I've told this story probably so many times. I'll retell it again. Like, I popped up to it was like a natural thing as a junior routine. I popped up to a story jokingly where he posted his meal, and I was like, I'm always seeing this in prep. And then he genuinely apologized, and I was like, nah, man, like, it's fine. If I wanted it, I'd have it. And like, I kind of saw his reply was a bit like, oh, okay, like, kind of a bit surprised. And then he was like, oh, you know, a year until I've got to do prep again. And I just replied like, got to? Question mark. Like, I think more bodybuilders would get more value. I think if you forced bodybuilders to take a week off, young bodybuilders, I think most of them would gather so much more insight into their lives. Like, I remember there's a coach I'm mates with, and I won't say his name just in case like he doesn't want to talk about it. But he completely took a back step from bodybuilding and everything. And one of his clients was like, "Oh mate, that sounds great. You can eat whatever you want." And the guy said to the client, he's like, are you sure? You want to prep, right? Are you sure? Like, are you sure this is what you want to do?" Because like, you know, I think people get these ideas of like, oh, I have to prep, oh, I have to off season, I have to train, I have to go do steps, I have to go do cardio. You have to do any of it. Like, I've got a show booked in 47 days. I can drop Tim and cancel it, and no one's gonna care. You know, it's like the only reason that I'm doing it is because I want to do it, and like, I'm gonna ask myself at least 47 times if I want to keep doing this. And you know, it's like, I can just order pizza right now. Like, that's within my realm of capabilities. Like, I can do that. I can go do it. I can order two. I can order four. Like, I can go and binge. I can do whatever the fuck I want. Like, I don't have to follow a meal plan. You don't have to follow a meal plan. I can. I've done my steps, but I could just not do them. I could just not train legs tomorrow. Like, there's too many bodybuilders who turn something that they actively enjoy. And like, when we spoke about getting into the gym and getting into lifting and like all these positives that they enjoy, like, I started tracking my food because I wanted to grow, and I saw that and I was like, this is sick. And like, I wanted to follow a meal plan because I got bored of deciding what to eat, and I wanted to track my steps and cardio so that I could control my body composition, and I wanted to have a set training plan so I knew it'd be productive, and I wanted to pick certain lifts because I enjoy them. And it's like, people trap themselves in the process and then become miserable, and then, you know, as soon as like, that's when people start to fall off. And I think like, failing to adhere in bodybuilding is kind of, it becomes like a more and more alien concept to me, because it's like, how did we end up here? You know, it's like, you went out and you binged. Okay, well then clearly you don't want to follow your meal plan. Why are you back on it today? Like, what changed? Nothing changed. Like, do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm getting at? It's like,
Yeah, I've operated on like these principles more so than anything. We look at like, how do the best bodybuilders become the best bodybuilders? Okay, now a part of that is like, well, obviously genetics plays a factor here.
Oh
That's
yeah.
obviously right. And I used to have like I had this really anti genetics, and I used to be pro genetics, and now I'm like, oh yeah, I found the middle ground. Like as usual, as all rational people that understand, the more you learn, the more you understand. Yeah, okay. Like you set in the middle ground. It's not good for social media, but fuck that. Like we actually know what's going on here. Like
Yeah, yeah.
there's a huge component, obviously, genetics. Like you're not gonna wake up one day and look like Andrew Jacked. Like you're just not. I'm never gonna like. I don't have the bone structure, don't have the insertion points, and I'm not enhanced. So like, it's just never gonna happen. So yes, there's that. But we look at consistency and time in the game, right? It's not like how can you beast yourself for that one session as hard as possible. It's how hard can you turn up consistently over years and keep applying those same principles over and over again and just getting better and better and better at managing them. Like I
Yep.
found that like I've become far more intuitive with my training, which part of the reason why like I'm not with a coach at the moment is because I've started to understand myself more and understand why there's times where I just want to go lift some heavy fucking weights, man. Like, and I don't want to stick to the plan, but I'm still gonna apply the principles of if I'm going for a push day, I'm still gonna apply the principles of how I want to grow my chest, time under tension, stimulus, making sure there's control on the rep. But it might just be a bit quicker. I might not want to do this specific movement today, but I might do this movement. And it's not nothing to do with shocking the body or trying to get new stimulus. It's like it's an enjoyability factor. So I
Yeah,
enjoy
yeah.
that. If I go into that and I go, right, I'm going to do 2-3 sets of this. I'll do a warm up, top set, back off. Okay, or maybe I'll just do a 3 flat sets to say I have 8 to 10 on all of them. Or maybe I'll go a little bit higher on this fly movement and try and get a really good pump on. Mate, that is bodybuilding. Like, it's the principles of this. Like, this is how we get it. Maybe you do a heavy set and then a light set. Like, you start to understand things. Like, you'll do it intuitively. Like, I know I'm not going to load up a 5 rep on a leg extension. Like, you know, I'm
Yeah, yeah,
definitely not
yeah.
doing that raw first fucking exercise as well. Like, it's just that's not a good idea. Like, I'm probably going to do, maybe I'll do a squat movement, then I'll load it up for maybe a 8 to 10, then a 10 to 12, and then maybe I'll load it in the lengthened range on a prime kit because that feels really good. Like, and yeah, you just start to build all these pieces of the puzzle. So, like, we'll have a look at the best bodybuilders, what they do and how they do it. They're so intuitive. They know their bodies, they know their strengths, they know their weaknesses. Yes, there's a genetic aspect to this, brother. Like, full transparency here, mate. I've not trained legs in 8 weeks.
Oh, mate, your legs
I
are
know.
fucking goddamn gifted legs.
I've not trained legs in 8 weeks. Reason being is that I need to fit in my wedding suit. And I had legit story here. I had to size up to a 42 waist to get the material to fit around my legs for this suit. And only then I can move them up to 90. I can move them up to 90 and they feel, okay, I'm not going to split them. Which means I can sit down in them. Right?
God damn.
And I've had to get it tailored from a 42 down to a 40. And I'm going to have to wear a belt because I'm a 37 or 38. Like, so, like, I've just made the decision. I said to my missus, I was like, I'm going to have to stop training legs. And I don't even know how much cardio I could do because if I start cycling, they start blowing up as well. They're just extremely, extremely responsive. They were 25 inches round when I measured them last on one thigh. And it's the same size as my missus' waist. Like, it's just hilarious. It's just hilarious. I'm like, I just don't really need more. Like, yeah, I could get more hammy or more glute on the go, cool, but like, I just don't need it. So I've just not trained it, and I've just purely put that into upper, and I've had some of the probably the best response from that because I feel like over the start of this year, a lot more of my top line has started to come in. I'm like, oh, funny that. Like, maybe I'm onto something. And again, just from learning or experimenting that, like I said, I know it's a big taboo thing and like not training legs and shit like that, and it's a good joke, but like, I'm not concerned about not training my legs for a few weeks, mate, because I go back in there and I'm like fucking Tom Platz when I train them. I fucking love that shit. If you put a challenge in front of me, mate, when I mean, we'll say this, but I remember training with Elliot Gibson, my former coach at Gaines Bedford and Ultraflex and going through this and just fucking loving those sessions where just rinsing the towel out with as much as you fucking can
Yeah,
with those
yeah,
reps.
yeah,
I
yeah.
fucking love that shit. I love that challenge. I like someone there saying, right, let's fucking go, put the big boy pants on. I'm like, right, I'm going to fail or I'm going to get it, but I'm probably going to die before I fucking fail on this rep. Like, I'm going to get that fucking rep. Like, I love that shit. I love that challenge, man. And I've always been that no quit mentality or attitude, which can play for me or against me in certain ways. It can stupidly fuck me over on levels of fatigue, or it can push me into new levels. That one way is injury prevention, and the other way is making enough progress. But I don't think I've ever had a problem with actually working hard enough in the gym or training to failure. I think I actually need to be always insightful with my recovery, sleeping more, not getting 5 6 hours sleep, but trying to go and push for more for like 7 8 hours, and actually saying no to the guys that want to play online late at night, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
stuff like that. So yeah, man, that's kind of like my 10 pence on it, man, so to speak.
Yeah, again, like it's like what you said there. You've modified bodybuilding to fit what you want it to be, and I think like bodybuilding. I think I made a post about this today or something. It's like I used the phrase like bodybuilding is the beautiful art of what works and what's fun, and there has to be a bit of like give and take, and as long as what is fun works, fucking just go for it. It's like why why adhere to a process that you're not okay with? Like, for what reason? You know, and it's like, if let's say that, like, your idea of fun is like, I don't know, I've got it on the brain, but let's say you have like a Papa John's like every day. It's like, okay, well, that's going to be something that stops you from being able to get like all the way in terms of stage lean. So then you need to make a judgment call of which one do you prefer. And there's no wrong choices. Like, I remember having a conversation with a client where they left because they were like, I thought I wanted to lose weight and I just don't. It's fine. It's good. I'm glad you're happy. Like,
Yeah.
that's cool. You don't need to. I don't need you to. In fact, like, my day is not improved whenever you lose weight. It's the same. I'm like, if you want to do that, then my day's improved because you want to do that. But like, it doesn't actually have any tangible effect on my day. But equally, if by the same token you want to do it, then you need to be okay with like giving up the thing. So it's like either you want to land on stage or you want to have the pizza. And whichever one you pick, they're both correct. But you can't complain about not landing on stage, or you can't complain about not having pizza because you pick one.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, good segue for us there to kind of plug your coaching and what you're getting up to over the next couple, well, yeah, next year or so, obviously with prep and the plan for that, but then also obviously Archer Academy and where people can find you, man. So yeah, let's run that back.
Yeah. So I mean, if you want to see me on stage, 47 days. PCA first time is 3 in Brum. We haven't discussed any other shows, but knowing Tim, he'll plan some others in, so we'll see. And then, yeah, I have two things that I mainly do. I coach and I educate. So we have Archer Academy coaching and Archer Academy education. So if you're interested in physique or strength development, then obviously we can coach you. And if you're interested at getting better at that coaching process of physique and strength, then we can educate you. Or you can do both. Or you can do neither. It's entirely up to you. You've got all those choices there.
Who's currently in obviously Archer Academy as well at the moment?
What, any big names?
No, I was saying the part of the team. Who's a part of the team at the moment? Because it's not just yourself, is it?
Oh, yeah. So there's three of us. It's myself, Matty, or Matthew, and Camille. So the kind of three aspects that we do is I work typically with people who are competitive or just a bit kind of further along. Matty tends to deal with the lifestyle people, and then Camille deals with rehab. Again, that covers the education side and the working with side. So if you're someone who likes to coach lifestyle people, you want to get better at coaching lifestyle people, Matt's the guy to talk to. You can find all of us on the education platform. Injury rehab, or getting an injury rehabbed, or knowing more about that, Camille's the guy. Or again, if you're wanting to deal with people and getting a bit more advanced with hypertrophy yourself or for other people, then I'm the person. But if you go for the education route, you get access to all three of us.
Amazing, man. Where can people find you guys?
You can find us on our first names underscore Archer Academy on Instagram. So Jack underscore Archer Academy, or Matt or Camille. And then we also have the underscore Archer Academy all on Instagram. We've got our own podcast. It's got a great name, Growers Not Showers. I named it myself. I'm very proud of that. Although when we all compete, it's not going to work as a name. We'll be Growers and Showers, I guess. That's available on YouTube and Spotify. And I've also got a YouTube channel that I'm endeavoring to post more on. That is one aspect of prep that definitely, like, the prep is kicked away by YouTube productivity. But I've got a video scheduled up for next week where I'm training legs at 7 weeks out, so that's a fun one. And you can watch me slowly talk less and less as the video goes on.
Yeah, yeah. If anyone that they'll be listening to this or do it, they know that as you go deeper into prep, you talk slower and slower and slower, and you can always tell how far someone is into prep, not only by the
Yeah.
gauntness of their face, but how quickly they're actually speaking. I remember looking at some videos that I did on YouTube around when I was prepping, and oh, this is hilarious. Incomprehensible waffle, but so
Yeah.
slow. And it's like you could play this on times two, and it would be normal speed.
You got like the glaze behind the eyes.
Proper, mate.
You see like every like fiber of your fucking jaw around here as you're like clenching and talking, chewing gum. You can see all the fibers like dancing away.
Mate, I think
Yeah.
that's probably something retrospectively, looking back on a lot of my photos or videos, I did not realize how lean I actually got. Um,
It's always the way.
just just like if word to anyone else doing that at the moment, just like enjoy that process, man, because like seeing the body like that is you just never know where you might get to that stage again ever,
Yeah.
because life be lifing, and so like truly be present, man. Enjoy that shit. Enjoy the process, because if you're not enjoying the process, something probably does need to change.
Yeah, yeah. Like that's one thing that definitely is helped with prep is like the little motto I've been repeating is like lines in glutes, smiles on faces, like trying to acknowledge how lean I am, but also try and like enjoy it. And like I kind of take the mick a little bit in like me, Matty, and Camille have like a group chat,
Hmm.
and like I'll do anything, take a picture of it, like here's me opening the fridge, and then like in brackets afterwards, I've got lines in my glutes. Just like went to the dentist, was the only person there with lines in their glutes, like stuff like that. But yeah, I think truly appreciating like, hey, my body looks pretty fucking cool and lean right now. Like, that's fun, and like, I think it gives a lot more stage presence as well. Like when you're just kind of almost playing around with, how do I look? How do things like, if I switch this on, what does that look like? Well, that's actually a pretty cool shot. It gives you a lot of confidence in how you look, and it makes the entire process feel much more rewarding, that you're like, every single decision I've made has led me to this point where now I can look at my hamstring and go, oh, what the fuck? And like it's very rewarding and very cool, especially when you haven't ever seen it that lean before.
Yeah, man, that kind of essence of building something spectacular, because like you did that, it's brick by brick, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think a little part of it as well is other people never get anywhere near that. Anywhere near. Like, most people are pretty content with a six pack, and here we are, like digging out erectors and hamstrings and stuff. It's a very very cool feeling to be like, yeah, I'm probably like 20 pounds away from just being lean. It's like 20 pounds lighter than that.
My erectors came in really really early, and like I was
Really?
yeah, like I'll probably have to send you a couple pictures after this actually, like just so you can have that good old laugh throughout that as well, like because my glute lines didn't really come in, and I didn't really see them as much as I did through the food shot. I should have definitely bought like the photography shots throughout that. Looking back on it, I wish I had bought the photography shots, because if you're going up on stage, like I said, you might never get that at lean or get that good ever again. You never know what's around the corner.
Yeah, yeah. It's
But
not a
like
given.
I did not expect to see the level of detail that I had, purely because I've been working out for so long. I've been working out since I was 16. I'm 33. When I was on stage, I was 31. Yeah, 31, 32. Like when you do it for that long, like you don't realize the muscle maturity that you start to bring,
Mm.
and it's the reason why the likes of it's just an example here, but like Samson Doda, right? How old is he now?
I don't even know.
Mate, well, he's not young, like he's not a spring chicken, is he?
No, no. He is, well, he's only 30s though, isn't he? He's not that old.
If you look at like how long he's been competing and building up for that, it's a muscle maturity thing. Like he's hitting like his peak probably for like the next, I don't know, like he's finding ways to improve still throughout that. And Like if you look at someone who, I suppose this linking back to the younger crowd more than anything, especially like if you're like below 25, like just don't fucking stress. Just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you've got so much time to improve and get better and build upon that. That if you are one of those guys that pops off and does it, and you're a fucking Phil Heath, you probably already know it by the time you're 18, like or 20. You just know at that point. And in the meantime, just be like, well, you're in this for the long haul. If it's going to massively benefit your health, especially the way that I look and view bodybuilding, is that you should be some of the healthiest fuckers out there.
yeah.
Um,
Agreed.
you know, because you don't have a sport specific kind of angle to play at. Because you don't have to worry about the impact or the head trauma that rugby players or American football players go into. You don't have to worry about like snapping anything because you're not in a position where you're not in control, if that makes sense. And like, yeah, things happen, injuries happen, things happen, but like you're still in a lot more control than you think you are. That's the kind of balance of just maybe pushing the boat out on that boundary of what happens if I go 1% more. Like it should be 10%, 100%.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, bodybuilding is very, very, very easy. I think still, as a natural bodybuilder, or not speaking as a natural bodybuilder, I'm not a natural bodybuilder, but like natural bodybuilding is still nowhere near as unhealthy as assisted, but still not very healthy. And I think it's very easy to like. I agree. There should be more of an emphasis placed on staying healthy, and it's like, you see people come out of a prep immediately smash body weight back on, and then like no cardio, minimal steps, just slamming food. And it's like, just because you go to the gym does not mean your blood pressure is going to be happy, does not mean your cholesterol is going to be happy. And like, I think people play the age card like, oh, I'm 22, and it's like, you're 22 but you were 40 pounds lighter than you are now 3 days ago. Like being 22 is only going to mitigate that for so long. Like you have edema. Like your ankles are, the size, they're filling the room. They're the size of the room. Like if I put my hand on your ankle, the mark stays there for a year. Like, stuff like that. Like, I think the industry is better now at being like, if you're using cheeky substances, maybe you should be careful about it. But I think in general, it's just like bodybuilding needs more of a please eat your veg, please eat your fruit, please do your cardio, please do your steps, please don't get like outrageously heavy, please check your health metrics. Like I think you don't need to perhaps maybe needlessly check bloods constantly if you're natural, but I think blood pressure, like that's one that I check, especially in off season. Like goddamn, you'd be surprised. It's like people start the gym, they're like 50 kilos, and then they go in an off season, so like 110, and it's like that's really quite heavy still.
Mate, I mean, I'm walking around at 106 at the
Yeah,
moment.
exactly. Like
Um, yeah.
whether you like it or not, that's gonna bump blood pressure. Now, by how much and whether it matters, who
Take
knows?
mine week. I take mine weekly, man. Like every
There you
single
go.
week with my check in, it's done. On average, it's like 116, 120 over kind of like 60, 70. Like it's
Oh, bro, you're so chilling. Yeah, you're more than sound.
yeah,
And it's
yeah,
like,
it's super chill. Resting heart rate of like 55.
oh, goddamn. Yeah, it's like it's good to track those metrics because it's not a given that like they're gonna stay superb,
Mm,
and like I was saying to a client this morning, it's like I almost view being unhealthy as like a distraction from your body. Like if there's inflammation for it to deal with, if there's cholesterol that's fucking up your circulation and therefore your nutrient delivery, like if your immune system's kind of shit, and so you're constantly just like working in the background to clear out small viruses and bacterias and allergens and stuff like that. It's like
yeah, man.
these are all things that are expensive, and you only intake what you intake, like 3,000 calories or 4,000 calories, whatever the fuck it is. Like you only have so much energy to play with, and that if that's going somewhere else, it's going somewhere else, and you're wasting it.
Yeah,
And it's like the the healthier you are, you're better you're gonna grow. It's like I remember an old Jamie Johow full day of eating quote where he said, "Healthy body is a happy body, and a happy body grows." And like, yeah, there's some
spot
truth to
on.
that.
It's spot on to that, mate. Yeah, 100%. You can only optimize from the foundations that are solid, right? Like you don't worry about what time you're eating your creatine if like you're slamming Papa John's every night, like as the example goes there, that's on your mind, brother. But no, I appreciate you spending the time on this, mate. I appreciate your chat and your insight. Best of luck, obviously, for prep and everything, and obviously the guys know where to find you and all the team, man. So yeah, any closing statement?
Just thanks for having me on, mate. I look forward to another session at some point, hopefully. And
Up in Manny.
yeah, and or just wherever. I mean, I travel around all the time, so whenever and wherever. And just to anyone who is thinking about competing, reach out to me, reach out to Martin, and just ask questions because more insight and more value. It's great. This podcast will be incredibly helpful to you, but it is pre-recorded, and we've said what we've said, whereas we can talk directly to you if you DM us, and that's probably the most value we can give and the most value you'll ever get as someone who is a first timer or pre-first timer.
Yeah, especially this day and age, you have access to that. Well, I mean, I definitely remember I didn't really have that much, so having that access now to be able to do that is incredible.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
until the next one, ladies and gents, peace out.